Jephthah and Samson, Judges 11 through 16.
Judges 11. Jephthah delivers Israel. He was the son of Gilead and a prostitute. He was hated by his father's family and fled from his brothers and lived in a land Tob. The Ammonites made war against Israel. Then the elders of Gilead wanted to bring Jephthah to be their leader and against the Ammonites. Jephthah asked the Ammonites not to fight. They said that Israel had taken their land. He then told them that the Lord would decide between the people of Israel and the people of Ammon. Jephthah's tragic vow. He vowed to the Lord that if the Lord let him win war over the Ammonites, that whatever came out of his doors to meet him when he returns, he would offer up as a burnt offering to the Lord. His daughter meets him and tells her of his vow to make to the Lord. She leaves for 2 months. When she returns, she is the offering. It became a custom in Israel to mourn her for 4 days.
Jephthah's conflict with Ephraim. The men of Ephraim were angry at Jephthah for not being called to fight with him. But he said he did. They said that they were going to burn down his house. Jephthah gathered the men of Gilead, and they found against Ephraim. They won and killed 42,000 men. Jephthah was a judge in Israel for 6 years.
The birth of Samson. The children of Israel did evil again and fell into the hands of the Philistines. Manoah and his wife were barren, but the Lord told his wife that she would have a child. A child shall be a Nazarite, and shall Israel out of the hand of the Philistines. The angel told the wife not to drink wine or eat unclean food. Manoah gives a meat offering unto the Lord, the woman of a son called Samson. The marriage of Samson. Samson went down to Timnah. A Philistine girl caught his eye. He went back to his mother and father and told them to get the Philistine girl as his wife. He told his father, "She is the right one." Samson went down to Timnah with his father and mother. A young lion came at him roaring. The Spirit of God came upon him, and he barehandedly opened the lion. He didn't tell his parents what he had done. A couple days later, he came back to get the Philistine woman and made a detour to what was left of the lion. There was a swarm of bees in the lion's carcass and honey. He picked it up and ate it as he was running to his father. But he didn't tell them he had scooped the honey out of the lion's carcass. Samson made a deal with his parents about a riddle. They had 7 days to solve it, or else they would owe him. His parents were stumped for 3 days. They went to his bride and asked to worm the answer out of her husband, or else she'll die. She went to Samson and cried while asking him for the answer. She cried for 7 days until he told her on the last day. She went and told the people. The people went to Samson to tell him the answer. The Spirit of God came over him, and Samson went down to Ashkelon and killed 30 of their men. At their wedding, his wife ended up marrying the best man.
Samson defeats the Philistines. Later on, Samson went to his wife's house. Her father would not let him in. Instead, he gave her to his best man. Samson went out and set everything on fire. The people went out and burned her and her father to death. The Philistines captured him, and he kills 100 Philistines with a jawbone.
Samson went to a prostitute in Gaza, and the people were going to ambush him at dawn, but he left at midnight, taking the city doors with him. Then the Philistines offered Samson's new woman, Delilah, money to find out the secret of his strength. So Delilah asked Samson, and Samson told her that he would become weak if he tied by 7 bowstrings. So Delilah tied him like this in his sleep, and the Philistines were ready to ambush, but he still retained his strength. Embarrassed, Delilah asked again what would stop his strength. Samson first said that he had to be tied with ropes, and then that he had to be tied to the fabric in a loom. Both of these didn't work, but after much nagging, Samson told Delilah the truth, that his hair had to be shaved. So they shaved his hair in his sleep and took him prisoner in Gaza and gouged out his eyes. The Philistines were then praising their God because they had captured Samson, and Samson was brought to the temple as entertainment. And then Samson called to God and restored his strength, and Samson pushed down the supporting pillars of the temple, bringing down the building, killing thousands of Philistines and himself.